Lecture 3 is about gravity of black holes. How is with the gravity in the black holes? The Einstein idea of curved space has created this model of Professor Roger Penrose, that we have in the center of the black hole infinite curvature, or let's say very strong curvature, and that the gravitational force there is infinite. These are so-called gravitational singularities. This also is pseudoscience. A Nobel Prize was delivered a few years ago for the pseudoscience. Penrose gravitational singularities are pseudoscience. There is absolutely no scientific evidence of gravitational singularities in black holes. And the mathematical model that he developed has no scientific basis. This is not science. Mathematics of gravitational singularities is not science, it's pseudoscience. We know in mathematics that mathematical point is dimensionless. Mathematical point has no dimension. So, something that has no dimension cannot have attributes of pressure, energy, gravity force, or whatever. But there is more here. If we have, let's say, that in one black hole in the universe there is a singularity. This means that in one point of universal space the gravity is infinite. We know from mathematics for centuries, and we know in physics for centuries, that the infinite value in a given point of space cannot diminish with distance. You know? This is the basics of mathematics. If you have an infinite value in a given point, you can go far as you want, but still you will have an infinite value. So Professor Roger Penrose somehow is not familiar with the theory of infinite numbers, seems to me. The whole idea of the holes, of some holes in the space, is wrong. There are no holes there. And there is no, also this idea of event horizon, that something will happen, light comes in and then it can never go out. This does not. These are all mental forms that they are non-existent. There is nothing like this in the physical universe. The physics of black holes is well established by astronomical observations. We know today that in the center of spiral galaxies we have a huge black holes supermassive black holes. And that these black holes are throwing out a huge jets of fresh energy. So what is happening in the black hole? In the center of the black hole, there is no gravity at all. Not that gravity is infinite, as Professor Penrose thinks. No, gravity is zero there. But there is something else. Because of the huge density of the black hole, the energy density of space in the center of the black hole is so low that such a low energy density changes the electromagnetic properties of the superfluid quantum space, which makes atoms unstable. So atoms are falling apart in the center of black holes. And this transformation of matter into fresh energy is generating gravitational waves. So, if the star is not big enough, this pressure inside, because the fresh energy is created, becomes at a certain point so big that the black hole will explode in the supernova. If the black hole is too big to explode, then the pressure will make a hole in the direction of rotation. And through this hole, it will throw out the jets. These huge jets. These astrophysical jets are proved. So it is proved that energy is coming out of the black hole. So this event horizon is just a pure nonsense. Information paradox of Stephen Hawking, black hole information paradox. Hundreds of articles was written on this. This is absolute bullshit. There is no information paradox in the black holes. This all false ideas. The gravity inside the black holes follows the Newton shell theorem. What does it mean? If I go towards the center of the Earth, let's say 10 kilometers, the gravity there is less. For how much is less? If I would take this outer part of 10 kilometers of the Earth away, I would get the Earth a bit smaller. And the gravity there is exactly the same. You check, this is one of the basic things, Newton's shell theorem. And the black hole is nothing special. It's like every other stellar object regarding gravity. So when we go to the center of the black hole, the gravity is diminishing, and at the center there is no gravity at all. And the Nobel Prize was delivered for this. Gravitational singularities. This shows somehow that how far physics is now these days from the real world. Physics has lost the ground with these so-called speculative physics, theoretical physics that Einstein started with this curvature of space and so on. Physics has become mathematical philosophy. And what is the most surprising, that all these facts that I told you now are undeniable. Nobody can object these facts. But there is something else happening in physics. The mainstream physics ignore everything what it's not in its vision. The mainstream science has a certain religious ideas, and if you discover something that is against these religious ideas, you are out of the game. They ignore you. They will not talk to you. They will not discuss with you. One of the main tools of the development of science, especially physics, is an open discussion where physicists should confront their ideas on the open conferences, which should be also public, because people sometimes or often which they don't have physical degree, they understand physics much better than people which they have PhD, because they have this natural intelligence. Many PhD physicists, they are totally lost in their minds. They lost the contact with the physical reality. So physics, the modern physics today has become religion. Penrose gravitational singularities, this is religious dogma, has nothing to do with science. Has nothing to do with science. So there are many articles on the Biactive Physics Institute. If you type in the Google Biactive Physics Institute, immediately our homepage will pop out. So you can check other videos. I calculated everything. I also calculated why the protons are in these huge jets. Because the energy density of the proton in the center of the proton is so low that even in the biggest black hole it's not so low. So the protons remain stable also in the black holes. That's why they discover them in these huge astrophysical jets which are coming out of the black holes. And I also develop a Schwarzschild radius mathematics. I express the Schwarzschild radius with the low energy density, because the so-called black holes are particular in the sense that they are such a huge density of matter in the small area that the energy density of superfluid space diminishes so much that this changes so much electromagnetic properties of superfluid space that atoms become unstable. This is the main insight of the physics of now into the gravity of black holes. And black holes are rejuvenating systems of the universe. They disintegrate old matter, and they create a fresh energy. About this in my next videos. Thank you.